Welcome to the Power Couples Rock podcast, where our mission is to build a collective community of marriages, where we encourage, inspire, and support one another in order to have masterful marriages. We're Carlos, Catherine, Chris, and Sonia. Please check us out, powercouplesrock.com. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. We believe that one of the most amazing legacies we can leave in life is a great marriage. So we hope you'll listen, learn, and love the conversation. Let's power up.
Good day, Power Couples. This is Carlos and Catherine Green of Power Couples Rock.
Hey, what's up, Power Couples?
We are here at the Eusebia Weekend Experience for Marriages here in Columbia, Maryland. We've been having an awesome time.
Oh, yes.
And I know that if you've never been to Eusebia before, you don't know what you're missing on the investment in your marriage. And I tell you today,
yes,
we have this dynamic couple that we met 3 years, the first year of Eusebia. And the first year when we met them, there was this like instant kinship, instant connection. I was like, they will never, ever be out of our circle ever at this point. And here's the one thing I remember. I don't know if you guys even remember this, but I know that we were kind of figuring out when we were going to actually be leaving to go back to Atlanta from Hershey Park where we first had it. And we were having storm issues and things like that. And Richard, you said, you guys just come stay with us. So you just, whatever you need, we're going to come and get you, come back, and whatever you guys need. And we were like, they just met us.
Yeah, they don't know
And that's
us.
why we love them now. So we just appreciate the extended hospitality that we actually experienced from you all just from the first time we met you. And just every year, we just appreciate not just your friendship, but just your family-ship that you've actually shown to us. So I know I haven't introduced them yet.
Yeah, because they got to say hello to Power Couples. Say hello to our Power Couples.
Say hello to our Power Couples. This is Doctors Richard and Nephetina Serrano. So please say hello to our Power Couples community.
Hello, Power Couples community.
Yes. Hello, everyone. We are super excited to be here. Yes, Eusebia is the place to be.
Yes, we're in the house.
Must get here next year. 2020 is going to be off the chain.
Yes. These two rock. They rock.
do rock. And I tell you, I'm talking about them so much because that's how much they mean to us. And where they are. So we would love for you all to tell our listeners how you all met and how long you guys have been married.
So let me start first. I know women is first, but she always has a little twist on hers.
Oh, I like it.
But let me just say, we're honored to be in you guys' presence. We love you. We love you. I can't believe it's only been 3 years.
I know.
Because it feels like it feels like I've known you from my neighborhood. And then your name is Carlos. So Carlitos way. So when I first met you, I was like, Carlos, he got a Puerto Rican name. Wait a minute. But beautiful inside out. You guys are beautiful people. We love you guys. And thank you for all you're doing and for your work and the things that you are compelled, by God to do, because this is a ministry and it's heartfelt. It's heartfelt and it's work. It's work. It's a sacrifice.
It is.
So thank you guys for doing what you do.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you guys,
what's the story?
What's the story? Yes.
So, I was driving it was in Philadelphia. We've been married 30 years. So we was driving. I was driving in Philadelphia with my two cousins, Hispanic. So we had made a bet that I would speak only Spanish that day. So for the whole day, we're speaking Spanish, and then we was on 52nd, I think, in Market Street around there. Southwest Philly. No, West Philadelphia. There was no Puerto Ricans in West Philly. Okay? So this is West Philly. So we saw her and her girlfriend walking. She was coming from work, but they were walking up the street, and we went past them. And I said, wow, I said, did you see them girls?
What did you say it in Spanish, though?
Well, everything was in Spanish.
Okay, so let me hear wow in Spanish.
Oh, mira. Tuviste esa muchacha. Mira, tiene que ir para atrás. And you got to go back, make a U-turn. So we made a U-turn, and we pulled up in front of them. So as they was walking, we was out the car walking towards them.
Mm-hmm. So that day that I met my husband, I actually was working for a pizza shop. And I don't know what it was, but I was just really sad that day. And I decided to go into the restroom of the shop. And the people that worked there were just like family to me. They treated me so good, and they called me queen. And so I went to the restroom, and I just started praying. I started praying to God, and I just said, Lord, I don't want to just date. I don't want to just, have people in and out of my life. Lord, send me someone like my Uncle Dalton. My Uncle Dalton was my mother's oldest sister's husband. It was her second husband because my uncle Hunter had actually passed. Okay. And so she remarried Uncle Dalton. And I loved the way he treated her. He adored her. Mary was the apple of his eye. He just, everything was whatever she wanted. And he brought such amazing joy to me, to her. And I just love the way he treated her. And I just started praying. And I remember crying out to God and saying, I want someone in my life that can be for longevity. And I left out of the restroom. I went back to work. I was a cashier. And so I went back to work. And, one of the girls was like, Queen, what's wrong? You all right? I was like, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. And my girlfriend and I had decided, I was a dance major for 8 years, and I went to a college preparatory school, very diversified school. And she was meeting me. She was a vocal major, and I was a dance major. And she was meeting me to go to the movies. So here we are traveling. She picked me up. We were walking down the street. And as he said, they come driving by, and we're like, where are Puerto Ricans coming from in this neighborhood? We were like, what in the world? Okay, but they drove by, and next thing I know, he went around the block, and yes, they pulled up. And then when we got we wound up meeting up with them because they made sure they pulled up so that we could actually walk by them. Mm-hmm. Oh. And when we did walk by them,
cut them off.
When we did walk by them, they all got out of the car, and Richard instantly walked directly toward me.
Oh, so you were going to be the first in line. You knew.
You already knew you
before
had
anybody have dibs on that. That's mine, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And see, I was never a pursuer like that. So for me, it was like, they cute, but it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna play this off, whatever, because I have a girlfriend with me, So we're walking, and so he gets out and he starts speaking to me. Mira, Elia es bonita. He was like, And so both my girlfriend and I both took Spanish for 4 years, right? We were in our last year of high school, and so here we are. We we know exactly what he's saying.
Yeah, they knew some of the words.
Wow.
Yeah. So we wound up talking, but what was interesting is they were just really nice. Richard was really cute. I was like, oh my God, look at the legs.
Because I played basketball.
He was his skin tone was totally golden. Wow. And I mean, he was just golden, and his hair was just slicked back. I was like, am I in West Side Story? I'm coming to America.
Okay, Nephetina, you live in that story again.
Right there.
She right there. I'm right there with her.
She just got out of the car, and she walked around. I'm there. I'm the girlfriend right there with you.
There you go. That's right. So my girlfriend was like, looking at them, and he just would not speak English. So his cousin wound up speaking for him. And I was like, he said, I would like to keep in touch. He asked for my number, and I was like, well, I'm going to talk to him. And so his cousin was like, oh, don't worry. We have a 3-way, and I can call and translate. And you know what? I thought that was really interesting. And I'm very unique anyway. And I just thought that was a challenge. And I thought, you know what? I'm up for that. Okay, wow. we can do the 3-way phone call. I'm cool. So,
back then when 3-way was cool.
You remember back then they 3-way?
Yes.
On the mobile phone. The house phone, the rotary dial.
So I know so fast forward, right? So we wind up exchanging numbers. We leave and we go to the movies. We come in and out the movies.
Hold on. Go fast forward, because I have to say that at this time in my life, I needed a change.
Okay.
So for me to meet her at that time was perfect timing for me, because I was doing drugs. I was on drugs. And she didn't know this, of course, at the time.
Wow.
But even in the car, we were getting high. That's what we was doing. We was driving around getting high.
Wow.
So for me, I know I needed a change. I know that she prayed, but I just knew that I needed a change in my life, because I knew that that wasn't me, wasn't the person that God had created. I was Catholic, so I wasn't, spiritually Pentecostal and things like that in church. So I was Catholic to just wasn't really spiritual. And so that's okay. So you can go from there.
But
that was a divine interventional moment or intervention for you.
Right.
Because she's praying
Right.
for someone that she can date,
For longevity.
for longevity. And then you're here, and I would consider that to be a broken place because you're doing all the drugs and all of that, but then God saw fit for you to meet someone who's praying for a long-term relationship, and it happens to be you.
Amen.
Wow.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for the transparency.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So now he says you can fast forward.
So we and we leave each other, we exchange numbers, and we move on, and we go to the movies. And as we're coming out of the movie theater, these two guys were following us. And, they wanted to hang, and my girlfriend knew one of the guys, and the other guy, just wanted to talk to me. And so my girlfriend was not having it. She was just not in the mood. She didn't want to talk to the guys. And so here we are in a whole different part of the city. Now we're in the downtown area, which we had to take the train. They drove. They didn't know where we were going or what we were doing, right? We didn't discuss that. We come out of the movie theater. We're trying to ditch these two guys. And who rides down the street? But these guys again.
What?
So God made sure that we knew that this was him, right? So we didn't realize that until down the line. But he comes out, they get out of the car, and it was like, oh, there's my friends. That was our excuse to ditch the guys.
Coming out the movies.
We meet Richard and them, and so we go to, Baltimore has like a harbor. Well, we have Penn's Landing in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And so we went to the landing. And so going to the landing, it was really nice. We wind up hanging out for the entire evening. Still, Richard was not speaking English. He spoke Spanish the entire time. And then my girlfriend says, you understand English just a little too well. Which, he was like, no habla English. So we wound up leaving that evening, and they actually wound up dropping us off at home. So my girlfriend was like, you better take care of my girlfriend because I have your tags and all that. I will hurt you.
So they dropped her off first.
They dropped her off first and then dropped me off.
Wow.
So we get to my house. We get out of the car. He was the perfect gentleman the whole time. And he walks me out, and he walks me backwards. So he's walking in front of me, and I'm walking backwards. And he says, shh, don't say nothing, please. And I was like, okay.
Oh, so
said,
you started
I'm
speaking
sorry.
English.
It was close to midnight.
I can speak English. He was like, you're so beautiful. He said, can I have a kiss?
She was a cutie. I had to get a kiss.
So I gave him a little kiss on the cheek, and that was it. We parted ways. I ran in the house, and I got on my little rotary phone, and I was like, Heather, you're not going to believe this. She was like, he can speak English. And that was the story of us meeting one another, and it's been, history since then. 32 years
How long did you
years
guys
ago.
date, though?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years before you got
So
married.
that was 1987.
Yeah.
How
Dated
did you
for 2
know
years.
that you were ready for marriage at that point? Because at that point, were you then out of college then, or in college?
Oh,
or-
yeah, I was out of college. I'm a little older.
Okay,
than
so you were
Nephetina.
out of college at that. That's fine. You were out of college at that point. And how did you know that I'm ready to take on the responsibilities of being married?
I didn't know. All I knew that I met someone who didn't get high, who was different, who had, she pretty much had her own. We would go out to lunch and dinners and things like that. And, we would chip in and pay, or I would pay, or, very easy to get along with. And we had a lot of conversation. So our foundation was, conversation.
Friendship.
Friendship was really our foundation of just hanging out. And she was not in my neighborhood, which was great. I really didn't date in my neighborhood.
And neither did I.
And neither did she. When I would go in her neighborhood, they thought I was black. And when she would come to my neighborhood, they thought she was Puerto Rican. So,
and that
it was pretty interesting.
Well, I was going to ask you all, because you've been married for 30 years, but as you're dating or early on in your marriage, right, you come from two different cultures, Puerto Rican and African American. What were some of the challenges or struggles that you went through, or a story that's like, wow, we didn't see this coming?
The biggest challenge for me was my mother. Being Hispanic, baby boy. I wasn't the youngest, but I was the youngest boy. So she wanted me to marry a Spanish girl. That's what she wanted. So dating my wife at the time, we came home one day and my mother moved a Spanish girl in my room.
Yes, you did.
Hold on.
You can't make
I want to make.
Wow.
I got it. Did you hear that? What did he
You
say?
cannot make this up.
What did Richard say?
A Spanish girl in your
Yes,
room.
she did.
Yeah. But I believe that was the design that the devil had, his plan, because what was coming for us to be together with our purpose. But I knew it wasn't her per se, because that's just, people don't do that. Parents don't do that.
No,
It's just like somebody, and when you're
Right.
dating somebody. So my sister came out and said, no, mom did that. He didn't have nothing to do with it, because I really didn't know the girl. And I was like, what are you doing in my room? She was like, well, your mom said I can stay here. I said, but I have a girlfriend. You can't stay here. So she, of course, didn't. She thought I was messing around, or it was me and my sister had to come out, and I had twin sisters. So the younger one came out and said, no, he didn't do that. Mom did it. So I went to talk to my mom, and she was like, well, she needed a place to stay. And I said, Mom, but I have a girlfriend, Mom. You can't do that. And so that was a challenge.
That is a true story.
Wow.
How was the interaction between you, Nephetina, and his mom then?
It was not a good interaction, because she did everything she could for us not to be together. And ultimately we had a short breakup over that, and but my family loved Richard. They adored him. They enjoyed him, but it was challenging. It took some time. And we eventually moved, we eventually wound up together, and she just had to my husband was adamant that you're going to have to accept her, because this is who I'm going to be with.
So you love. This is who he loves.
So it's interesting, and it's interesting because we wound up going to counseling. And this is unheard of for me and my community, per se, for Hispanics to have counseling. So we went to an outside counselor, circular counselor, which I think my job or something paid for. Then we paid a copay. And sure enough, the biggest thing was approaching my mother to accept my wife, because we had got married. And my mother, of course, nobody knew, because we went. Her grandfather was a pastor of a church, and we decided to get married. So we got married, and then we started counseling. So I had to go to my mother, bring my wife, and sit my mom down and say, Mom, this is not my wife. If you do not accept her, then you don't accept me, because now she is a part of me.
Oh, that's huge.
That was a hard conversation.
And thank God that she did accept her.
Wow.
Because that really turned it around. That was the game changer for me, being the man and having to step in and confront my mom. And then after that, though, their relationship started building after that.
That was huge.
You had to.
It was hard.
You had to struggle with that, because you have a mom here who you've been with forever,
and who you love and respect.
Right, and then you have a wife here that you knew God had sent this woman to you, and having to battle through that tension had to be pretty tough. Not only on you, but just the stress I'm sure that it took, and then with Nephetina having to deal with that, and your mom having to deal with that.
Yeah,
but
it was tough. Yeah, and I got saved a week after I got married.
Yes.
Oh,
So
wow.
I wasn't even saved when I got married.
Yeah, he
I got married
saved the week after.
What?
in a
Yeah.
Pentecostal church. And I told the pastor, I said, it's too loud. Because I'm coming from Catholic.
It's got to be really quiet.
Loud
And
and
he
long.
said, just keep coming. So I kept going.
Yeah.
So I went back to a Catholic church. And you know what I said? It's too quiet.
Oh my
I'm going back to my white church.
He was won over, and I just thank God. I never doubted that he would. I never doubted.
Yeah.
I saw something in my husband when I met him, and I think the wonderful thing is that we were best friends. We were friends. We did so much together.
Yes.
And we began to build some wonderful memories in our dating.
Yes. Yes.
And we actually went to counseling before we got married.
Okay.
We went to a secular counselor, and that was before getting married. And it was very good because I had went through some very traumatizing events growing up that affected our intimacy a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I needed to get through that. And so along with getting through that, it was an opportunity where he went to support me in that. But through supporting me, we were able to get counseling on what we should do about other issues. And we got to know each other in a more deeper and intimate way through counseling. And I think that was a very good turning point for us to know that we were meant to be together.
Wow.
So you all got, go ahead, Catherine.
Go ahead.
You all got counseling before you got married, and that was with the secular.
With a secular counselor.
But then after you all got married, there was additional counseling. Was that through Christian counseling at that point? It was
all
another secular counseling.
Yeah.
But that was to deal with the relationship tension
My mother.
with your mom then.
And the family too, because the family still wanted me to get high because they was like, I know you still get high. You didn't quit, or anything like that. Because I'm in saved now. I'm in church now.
Yeah.
But
that didn't change anything, right?
Because my family got high.
The family never forgets what you were like before.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's ingrained in their mind.
That's good.
And they won't let you forget, even when you're doing good. They say, we know what you was like. They want you to fall back. It's like, no. So, yeah, that's huge. Well, you all talked about the counseling and the importance of that and identifying about relationship. And I want to talk a little bit about the ministry you guys are in, which deals with a lot of marriage, relationship. And it's called, what's the name of your ministry? And
Covenant Rescue 911. It is a 24-hour hotline for couples and families in crisis. And, we've partnered with some outside ministries as well as organizations that have partnered with us and have certified counselors that are ready and willing to man these lines. Our ultimate goal with this program is to have a facility, a 48-hour to 72-hour overnight stay for a couple or family in crisis, so that we can work with them and get them the proper support that they need in order to go forward.
Wow.
So you mean, so if someone picked up the call, picked up the phone right now and said, I am having some serious issues in my marriage and I just need to talk to someone, they can call this number here. What I have is 855-RESC. RESC 911.
Yes.
And someone will pick up on the other end.
That is correct.
To listen to their story and to give them some counseling.
Yes. We have, we just added 51 more certified churches into the program that we just received about 2 weeks ago. We partnered with Christian Stronghold, and we're adding about 10 more people to the line. But yes, they can call anytime, 2, 3 in the morning, and somebody will pray with them, get them to a safe place, make sure that they're okay, and then seek counseling for them. Whatever church is near them is close to 200 in the program, but we have 52 or so that are certified.
Is it just in the Philadelphia area, or can I call from Atlanta, Georgia?
Anywhere.
I mean, not that I'll need to call. Not me.
Right.
No, but in all honesty, though, so anyone can call from anywhere.
From anywhere.
And call this number, and they can get
overseas,
the assistant.
Yeah. We've gotten phone calls
Mexico.
from New Mexico and various places, Louisiana, and Philadelphia, New Jersey, Delaware, all of the close locations as well. But people are starting to get to know that Covenant Rescue 911 is out there, and family members are taking numbers and passing it on. And so it's been really good that people have been really putting the word out. And then our social media aspect has been a big help too, because they're starting to get to know it a little bit more.
Yeah. How long has this been in existence?
Covenant Rescue has only been in existence now for a little over 2 years. Wow. Yeah.
How many calls do you guys get on average, whether it be weekly or monthly? Because this is a service that is not like any others. You would think a hotline like this is more just for suicide.
Yeah.
And that's it.
No.
But here you're talking about Covenant Rescue 911, which is amazing.
So we work with people that are experiencing brokenness, deception, depression, right? The effects of a bad relationship, things like, that happens to us, infidelity and things of that nature. So they call for various reasons, and we just want them to know that there is hope. We want to, that's our first goal, is to give them hope so that they can know that their situation is not one that's so detrimental that it can't be fixed or it can't be worked through.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I would say probably 10, 15, because sometimes they do give them our cell phones to call as well. But I would say about 10, 15 a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, we try to we try to direct them to because there's sometimes things that are just above us, right? We have therapists, we have psychologists that are partnered with us, and so when things are above the general counseling, we make sure that we still connect them to the right people. We have great partners that are on the line, that man the line as well. There is a system, a digital system, of course, where depending on your need or what it is you're calling for, if you just want general prayer. We have a pastor out of Chester, Pennsylvania, Pastor Roosevelt Brandt III, who oversees that line, and then we have various other partners. So
wow.
So I have just a couple of questions on this Rescue 911 because I'm so interested in this. One is, does it cost anything if I call? Like data rates will apply, or this is going to be $1.99 per minute? Is it any cost associated with it? And can you confirm for me that this is a Christian hotline, or you guys go from that?
So it doesn't cost anything. I mean, on our end, it is a toll-free number.
Okay.
I don't know if that would apply to their database and things like that. We are certified Christian counselors, graduated from Christian Stronghold. So we are biblical counselors. Although we still will counsel individuals that are from different places and the things that they do. We don't turn anyone away. Wow. We are counseling the individual. Yes. So yes, it is a Christian-based counseling.
Yeah.
We also partner with GMWA, which is Gospel Music Workshop of America. So we did partner with them. We actually sit on the pastoral board with them. So all of their musicians that go abroad calls that line also.
Wow. And GMWA is Gospel Music Workshop of America.
Yes, in Philadelphia, chapter in Philadelphia.
Got it.
Wow. You all, this was needed a long time ago, but I'm so glad that God has birthed that vision in you all to have this, and we're going to continue to share that with our listeners. But that's not the only thing you do, right?
No.
I see here you are the marriage CEOs.
Yes.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit about that.
The marriage CEOs is actually just a little bit of rebranding Richard and Nephetina Serrano, right? So what we are not only counselors, we are evangelists, we are ministers, we minister the gospel, licensed and ordained. And so with that being said, one of the things that we do workshops, we do conferences, seminars. So we go out and talk about all things relational and relationship. And so if you want the marriage CEOs, you can just contact us. All of our social media handles are available online whenever, but right now that's part of what we do. We also have a book, our first book together.
Whoa.
Yes. Tell us about it.
Please.
The Marriage Corporation. And I'll let Dr. Serrano talk a little bit about that.
Yes, please.
So the Marriage Corporation is corporate strategies for fulfilling God's purpose in a covenant marriage. And how God gave it to me was that I was in a basement one day, And my wife was coming down to the basement, and I have a workshop down there, maintenance department. And she says, well, the light bulb needs to be changed. And I said, light bulb? I said, put a ticket in or text me. And as soon as I said that, I looked up and the Lord just started downloading.
Wow.
And he said, this runs the home, the maintenance department. And then he showed me the security department, the culinary department, and different departments in the home. And I said, wow, that's really interesting. So I kept writing and writing and writing. Then we was at a conference, and I just kept giving information about the maintenance department and how, because just like in corporate, you get trained to do certain positions in your home.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, in corporate.
In corporate, yeah.
So guess what? In your home, we don't get trained to do certain positions in our home.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk about personal resumes because however you were raised is your personal resume that qualifies you for the position in your homes. Mm-hmm. So I'm the maintenance department. I'm over that. I'm over the security department. Those two departments are 24-hour departments, just like in corporate.
Wow.
So I make sure whoever stays in our home and things like that, make sure that they know the alarm is on, the alarm is off, which way to go out and exits and things like that. So that's what we talk about. But a lot of positions are by default. Yeah. Sometimes you get stuck doing these positions. You're not qualified.
Not qualified.
But guess what? The positions still need to be done.
Yes.
Like I can't cut the grass because I have bad allergies. Mm-hmm. But it still needs to be done, so I have to contract that out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We do a lot of contracting now too. Not because of allergies. I just don't want to cut the yard. So we just contract it out.
There are some people that are really skilled at that. They're skilled at that.
Yeah.
Right.
He likes the lines going a certain way.
Right.
I want my apron on my yard. But like you said, it still needs to be done.
Yeah. So the Marriage Corporation is going to give life and some practical tools and things of that nature to anyone who reads it. Because why? Even though you don't possess the skill set, you got to subcontract it out. It must get done, as Richard said. But you have your president, your executive vice president. And then, of course, we know that the one that we're connected to, our Jesus, God who is the center, he's the chairman of the board.
Come on.
And so we need to make sure that people understand the foundation of marriage. He instituted it as his thing.
It is his thing. And so it is a thing.
It is. And so we need to understand our position, our roles within that as well. So as we're, going through the book, that's kind of what it entails.
Right. And you can't leave the children out. The children are your workers.
Yeah.
Just like your employers. Come on. Employees. They have to do the job. The children are the workers in the home. They have a paid roof over their heads. Yes. Some of us are paying for their college.
They have uniforms.
They have uniforms.
That y'all pay for, right?
Yes. So they have to help out. And that's good training ground for them because my mother and father laid the foundation for me and her parents. Laid the foundation. My mother had a list of us to do. And we all did chores in the home. On the weekends was double work. So they laid the foundation without even knowing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because that's why we do what we do now, because of how we were raised.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is good.
Resume.
So you've got the marriage CEOs here. You got the Marriage Corporation that you're doing. You've got the Rescue 911, Covenant Rescue 911. You're here at Eusebia.
Yeah.
Just really quick, our theme is on clean. So tell us, what does clean mean for you all?
Well, clean, we want to be clean. Clean means to be sinless or just sinless. Clean means to make sure that we're looking to our Father for direction in the things that we do. Clean means that, we may not be perfect, but we need to be making sure that we're striving toward the perfection that God has out there for us. We have to be always willing to work to be better, do better, live better. And so, that cleanness is really, something from the inside out. You can't pretend to be clean. Either you're clean or you're not. Mm-hmm. And so, when I think of clean, I just think about, the prayer that I pray is like this: create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit. that helps me to stay clean. God, look upon me, and anything you find that shouldn't be, take it out.
Yes.
So we want to be clean. Why? Because then we can be more yielded to what God wants us to be so that we can hear from him. When we're not clean, he turns away. He doesn't want to deal in any unclean thing. And so when I think about clean, I just think about wanting to be near God. And if I want to be near God, then I have to stick to godly principles and live my life accordingly.
Yeah. Thank you.
Amen.
Dr. Serrano.
I always think of the time when I was in counseling and I found my purpose. And my purpose was to be a counselor. And I thought about how does that work and what does it look like? And a closer walk with Jesus for me is being clean, because the more you know God, the more he cleans you up. The more he washes away your sins, the more he washes away your background, the more you don't notice some of those things that you used to notice before. Those friends you used to have, you don't have no more. You have better friends, cleaner friends. Your circle is just better. Your surroundings is better. Coming to Eusebia, these are all leaders here. The majority is leaders, and that's a covering. And just being around this company makes you feel clean.
Such a blessing.
I used to think back in the day, like when you see the Pope and you think of cleanliness, I think of clothing. I think of being robed, and those it's from the inside out.
Yes.
And I had a hard time with that because a lot of people used to say things but didn't do it. So for me, I needed to feel God more. I needed to feel God more in my life. And when I did, that's when my life turned around. And see, God covers us, right? We cover each other. But when we walk together, you don't see our faults because we cover one another. And then God covers us. So I believe that a closer walk with the Lord, he cleans you up.
Would just give us one last word for our couples just to encourage them in their marriage covenant. What would you tell them to just how to keep going?
I would say something that the Lord spoke to me when I was in Jamaica, when we was in Jamaica speaking, is that don't look at your partner's complaint as a complaint ever again, because they're telling you what the problem is. So that wife that's saying, things, and you're saying, why are you always complaining? Don't do that ever again for the men, because she's telling you what the problem is. Now, you don't have to fix it, but you know what it is. The problem is when they're not speaking, then you're trying to figure things out. We used to have those homeboys down the way, be like, man, come on, man. Your wife always complaining, man. You're always saying stuff and all. But that's back in the day. In today's society, on our counseling sessions, we talk about, as long as the other person is speaking, you have what you need to correct things.
That's good.
Yeah.
You got me here like, woo.
It has certainly been a pleasure sharing this time with you all. Thank you for sharing the information, your wisdom, your knowledge to our listeners. Just tell real quick how they can get in touch with you, how they can contact you, so that they'll know all of the information that we shared, how they can touch bases with you. That's so important.
Well, if you know someone that is in a marriage crisis or that is in need of some support in their marriage, certainly they can contact us at covenantrescue911.com. And if they're looking for just, some additional support, they can contact us at www.marriageceos360.com.
There you have it, listeners. So let's get powered up.
Love it.
Thanks for listening to the Power Couples Rock podcast. We hope that you've been encouraged, inspired, and supported. Please listen and subscribe to our other Power Pods as we are confident that they will strengthen your marriage. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. It's there where we can extend these discussions together, take these conversations and your marriage to the next level. Enjoy your day and power up.